In our previous chapters, we explored the hidden basements of the unconscious and the mountain peaks of human ambition. But now we descend into a completely different kind of labyrinth, the invisible trap of our own logic. Welcome to Episode 11. This is the story of Aaron Beck, the architect of cognitive behavioral therapy, who showed us that we are not prisoners of our past, but victims of our own faulty code. In the early 1960s, Aaron Beck was a psychiatrist fully trained in traditional psychoanalysis. Like everyone else at the time, he was taught that if a patient was depressed, the cause must be buried deep in their childhood or hidden in their ID. But as he sat in his office at the University of Pennsylvania, Beck noticed something that the books had missed. Beck didn't care about your childhood dreams or your hidden traumas, as much as he cared about what you said to yourself when you woke up this morning. He realized that depression and anxiety aren't always caused by broken hearts. They are often caused by broken logic. His patients weren't just suffering from deep-seated anger. They were suffering from a constant rapid-fire stream of automatic thoughts. These are the lightning-fast pop-up ads of the brain. They happen so quickly that the person doesn't even realize they've had a thought. They only feel the emotional pain that follows. Beck realized that our emotions don't come from events, but from our interpretation of those events. This led to his revolutionary model: event to thought to emotion. If a colleague doesn't say hello to you in the hallway, event, and your brain says, "They're ignoring me because I'm not important," thought, you will feel rejected, emotion. But if your brain says, "They look like they're in a hurry," thought, you feel neutral. Beck's mission was to prove that we aren't prisoners of our past, but victims of our current faulty interpretations of reality. Beck identified that when we are stressed or depressed, our brains stop being objective scientists and start being lawyers for the prosecution. We begin to use cognitive distortions, biased ways of thinking that twist reality to fit our negative moods. To fix the mind, you must first recognize these common, software glitches that filter your reality. 1. All or nothing thinking, seeing things in black and white. If your performance isn't 100% perfect, you see yourself as a 0% failure. There is no grey area, no good enough. 2. Catastrophizing, taking a small setback and blowing it into a world-ending disaster. It's the what-if game. What if I mess up this line? Then the speech is ruined, I'll be fired, and I'll never work again. 3. Mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking without any real evidence. You see a stranger frown and know they are judging your outfit. 4. Fortune telling, predicting a negative outcome as if it's an established fact. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where you stop trying because you've already failed in your head. 5. Emotional reasoning, the dangerous belief that your feelings are objective facts. I feel guilty, so I must have done something wrong. Or, I feel like a loser, so it's a fact that I am one. 6. Should statements, using words like should, must, or ought to whip yourself or others into a rigid perfectionism. This leads to chronic guilt, shame, and frustration. 7. Personalization, taking responsibility for things that aren't your fault. If your child gets a bad grade, you think, I am a failure as a parent, ignoring the child's own effort or other external factors. 8. Mental filtering, picking out one negative detail, like a single drop of ink in a glass of water, and dwelling on it so much that the entire reality turns dark. You ignore all the positive evidence. 9. Disqualifying the positive, actively transforming positive experiences into negatives. If you get a promotion, you tell yourself, they just didn't have anyone else to pick. I wasn't actually good. 10. Labeling. The most extreme form of overgeneralization. Instead of describing a behavior, I made a mistake, you attach a global, permanent label to your soul. I am a total failure. Beck observed that depression isn't just a feeling, it's a structural system of thinking he called the cognitive triad. Once you fall into this triad, your brain creates a closed loop of logic that traps you in despair. It acts like a dark lens through which you view three specific pillars of existence. The negative view of the self. You see yourself as fundamentally defective, inadequate, or unlovable. You believe you lack the necessary tools to be happy. The negative view of the world and the present. You see life as a series of insurmountable obstacles. You believe that the world makes impossible demands on you and offers no rewards in return. The negative view of the future, the most dangerous pillar. The belief that it will never get better. You project your current pain into eternity, which is the psychological foundation of hopelessness. This triad creates a cognitive fog. When you believe the future is hopeless, you stop taking actions that could improve your life. This lack of action leads to more disappointment, which proves your original negative thought was right. Beck's revolution was to attack the thoughts at the source to break the cycle of the feeling. Beck didn't want his patients to just think positive. He hated the idea of mindless affirmations. He wanted them to think accurately. He treated therapy like a scientific laboratory and the patient like a fellow researcher. This process is called collaborative empiricism. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," Beck would ask, "Where is the evidence for that thought? If you were a judge in a court of law, would this evidence stand up?" If a patient said, "Nobody likes me," Beck would give them homework, go to a social gathering, initiate 3 small conversations, and record the objective results. If the data showed that people were polite or friendly, the patient was forced to confront the fact that their internal software was lying to them. By writing down these automatic thoughts in a thought record and finding the logical fallacies within them, you move the problem from the emotional, reactive part of your brain, the amygdala, to the logical, executive part, the prefrontal cortex. You stop being the victim of the thought and start being the editor of your own life story. Aaron Beck proved that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we have absolute power over the lens through which we see it. You are not a prisoner of your moods. You are the architect of your perspective. By fixing the glitches in your mental code, you can literally rewrite the chemistry of your brain and reclaim your reality. In Chapter 12, we meet the man who will show us that the human brain itself has a hardware problem. Get ready to find out why your brain is constantly lying to you and how to finally stop falling for its tricks. Don't forget to subscribe as we continue our 12-part journey through the evolution of the human mind. Because to change your life, you must first understand the machine that creates it.